Hey everybody, Jeremy Price from the Herald Times here, joined today by IU women's basketball beat writer John Blau as we wrap up the 2015-16 season for the Hoosiers. And this is the time of year where you kind of look back at what went right, what went wrong, how was this season different from the last. And the biggest thing about this season is it was completely different from the last season for Indiana.
Right, they won a lot of games. They won 21, which is a program record, went from 4-14 in the Big Ten to 12-6. Finished fourth in the Big Ten, which is a huge jump from where they were last year, being in the first day of Big Ten tournament play. They got a double bye, which didn't really work out for them in terms of losing to Northwestern. But then they went to the NCAA tournament, and they won an NCAA tournament game against the Georgia program that has a lot of tradition, and they gave Notre Dame a fight. So it was definitely completely different from where we were last year when you think about all the transfers they had, and everybody was wondering, how is this going to turn out?
In terms of the on-the-court product and how that changed, I think the biggest difference this year was obviously Tyra Buss with the ball in her hands. She was sort of the driver of Indiana's success this season.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Laren Brooks leaving last year, and people were thinking, well, that's the face of their program. That's their best player. That's the person who set a record for most points through a sophomore season. And it actually almost turns out to be a blessing in disguise because you give the ball to Tyra Buss, and she just attacks. She had a record-setting season from the free throw line, all Big Ten first teamer. Just a sophomore point guard who showed a lot of promise with the ball in her hands, running more in system, running up tempo, and just getting them to play the way that Warren would like them to play.
And got a lot of support from sophomore classmate Amanda Cahill, who stepped up this season as well.
Right, just another sophomore. Those are two sophomores you can grow with. Amanda Cahill was an All-Big Ten, got some All-Big Ten recognition too, second team by the media and honorable mention by the coaches. She had 11 double-doubles, just a great player in terms of her intelligence and how she can handle the ball, but then also rebound and hit some outside shots. She was huge for them, and again, just two sophomores that you can really grow with going forward.
Cahill was tremendous in the front court and got as much support as she could out of a thin front court this year. But as we spin it forward and sort of look towards next year, which looks to be a year that Indiana can really capitalize on. As a matter of fact, maybe they were a little ahead of schedule this year. I think the front court is probably the one area where Indiana wants to see the most growth.
Yeah, but you still got a ton of players coming back regardless. You got Carly McBride's going to be a senior. Alexis Gassian's going to be a senior. You don't lose anybody except for Lindsay Lycum. But yeah, you're definitely going to want to see growth from Kim Royster as a player, definitely, who was a freshman, kind of an up and down campaign, but definitely did have some bright spots. You're hoping that Darby Forsman comes in from Heritage Christian, a 6'3" post who can really stretch it, you think, but she was kind of second fiddle to Tyasha Harris there, scored less than 10 points a game, but the scouts love her, and obviously IU loved her, and she was offered when Kurt Miller was still here. So we'll see if they can capitalize kind of with this group coming in, Royster, Jen Anderson, and obviously Cahill and Buss, and see if they can win even more games this year, but they're definitely going to have more of a target on their back.
So the 2015-16 season in the books as an unqualified success for Indiana, and expectations are just growing for the 2016-17 season. We'll talk about that more later, but thanks for joining us today.